Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to another installment of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We've got some more Invitational League action for you today. We're closing in on the end of week 1, the 80 KDB, the All Dungeons Key Sanity with Key Drop and Starting Boots. This is game 2 of this 2-game set between 3 Off the Tee featuring Jamo and Homemade Beer today, versus JKLOL featuring Jesse, aka Radical Sniper 99, and Kaysden. On the call, you've got myself, that is Main DM, and we've got the third member of JKLOL here in the booth as well, Leoria of Light. Leo, how are you doing?
I am good. I am ready for some shenanigans. I am ready for absolutely destroying my teammates. And I am ready to, see if we can pull out a victory here. I will say, there's might be a little bit of a moment where the layout changes, possibly, because I do know this is currently not a race that has trackers. So we are attempting to do some switching to make it happen. But I'll figure that on the fly. I'm gonna trust my endium here to lead you guys well as far as the comms go while I try to do some shenanigans on the back end.
Well, that's going to be dangerous. I'm already supposed to be carrying somebody else, but, it's just one commentary, right? We'll make it through.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got this.
Speaking of having things, 3 Off the Tee, I believe, did take game 1 of this set, correct?
Yes. So we raced on Monday. It was Jesse and I versus Jamo and Fear. The 216 off, as I was kind of nicely calling it, and did not get the W that I was hoping for, but that's okay. Like, we knew coming in this was going to be a very, very tough week.
Yeah, imagine you have an Invitational League matchup and it's going to be a difficult week. There are 7 weeks. It's Invitational. You're going to have 7 difficult weeks. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And this is our interdivisional week, so, like, this was one that's like, oh boy, like, we knew that this was a team that was actively, like, playing asyncs for 80 key drop boots, and so we were not coming into this week thinking, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be, a, like, 2-0 situation, or even, like, I think we expected to potentially lose out this week in Goose Egg. So I'm actually pretty chill right now as far as, the temperament goes. No freaking out Leo yet.
Yeah, last season, I guess I should say, there are very few people who got to play League last year, but last season this was just co-op AD.
Yes.
We slathered the Key Sanity on top of it, and the Key Drop. It's a bit of a different beast. You still have to do all of the dungeons, but now not only are those keys and maps and compasses shuffled around, all of the enemies and the keys under the pots that you normally think, well, I'm just going to go into the back of Desert Palace and it's fine because I'm going to lift this pot here and that pot there and I'm going to get a couple of small keys and I can go to the boss. No, we've shuffled those into the pool too.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on here, for certain. There's going to be a lot of keys, a lot of info that these teams are having to share with each other. And yeah. Sorry, multitasking is hard.
Yeah, and Jesse and Jamo both just pulled small keys to Mire, and again, with this key drop shuffle thing going on, normally you think, oh, a small key to Mire, well, one of those is kind of nice, right? Well, not when the regular keys just under pots in that dungeon aren't there anymore. Now you really want a couple or three of those. Meanwhile, we've got Kasten and Beer down here just fishing through the entirety of Kakariko Village. It's a key sanity mode. You know that your partner's going to have to come here eventually. What you're really hoping for is you can say, okay, here are the things you can skip. Maybe you can save yourself a few screen transitions here and there. But you know everybody's going to be here probably sooner rather than later. Speaking of sooner rather than later, there are the save and quits from Jesse and Jamo. They're both going to start at the house. It looks like we're going to get a little divergence here, though, as Jesse is going to head north toward the castle, while Jamo's just going to go ahead and make the immediate play towards the village from the south. It does appear that those runners pulled the shovel from somewhere. Maybe, yeah. I mean, we've got a shovel on Jamo's current item, so we're going to get a little more information here. What do we got? Smoky Swamp. Okay, there are only 6 of those in the pool. Depending on whether or not you need to do left side swamp and whether or not the game is going to give you a hook shot before you have to dive in there and start finding things, you're going to need 4 or 5 depending on your comfortable level with certain pieces of tech.
All right, I am going to just bless my SpeedGaming restream overlords right now for fixing the layout, because we got it. We're set. This is great. Awesome. All right. Well, now that I can like focus on race things, yeah, I heard the discussion about the swamp smalls. The fact that we already have 3 known is a bit on the scary side, but not terrible. Realistically, with the use of Specky Clip, you only need 4 to be able to get to Argus and 5 to full clear. But if Hookshot is behind there, that could become an interesting thing.
Yeah, it can become a bit of a sticking point, and the whole bomb spooky tech where you can save a key on left side if you've got a very good sense of timing, and or you can get the bomb to land just when you need it to. It can be interesting. We've seen some games swing on that particular tech already.
Yeah, not wrong. I know the guys were kind of practicing it last night, and decided that if it was a thing that came about, that they would make an attempt, but they're not gonna spend a billion bombs and seconds of time trying to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as far as 3 off the tee, I can't say what either of their comfort levels might be with that particular bomb ability there on the left side of Swamp Palace. So we don't necessarily know if it's going to come into play or not, but it's something to bear in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to say for sure. Ideally, it won't be an issue, and with all the swamp smalls that we're already getting, it's just going to continue to get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes the game is nice and actually gives you what you need before you really have to go there, and then sometimes you're going to wind up triple dipping Castle Tower because there are 4 keys to that in this mode, not 2 on a couple of guards that you're just going to naturally slay in the course of moving through the place. And that's another one of those things where you can really see some time swings based on how many dips do you wind up making into dungeons. Do the keys shake out in your favor, or don't they?
Yeah, that's that's just it. Like, I had mentioned, like, there's a lot to keep track of here. And again, like, I don't know if either team, or I guess now both teams have gotten it, that 4th swamp small, I think, in Agina's cave. Like, this is a lot of swamp availability here. Like, I'm surprised we're not finding, like, well, I shouldn't say I'm surprised. Like, I feel like we're gonna find Hammer and Hook here pretty soon.
Yeah, we have, what, the one glove so far? We've got some flippers already, and it does seem like the game is heading in that direction, but there's still a little bit to be answered in terms of where's the Dark World access coming from.
2 gloves even. Yeah, I think had mitts just in CAC. I am 100% just guessing. Nope, 1 in the well. See, there we go. I was like, we had 2 in CAC. I totally saw that while trying to troubleshoot. Yeah, no, and 1 is in the dam. But what, Moon Pearl from Dark World, and then have fun with splitting up with, you know, mitts access. Now, Mandium, I know, like, I know you are I would say a buddy of beers. Yes, am I completely incorrect in assuming that?
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know God, I know you're a friend of JKLOL. I know this, like, that, duh. But I know the same, like, with beer. So, like, I feel like as far as, like, insight into beer's play, like, I can definitely pick your brain about certain things. Do you know a lot about Jamo?
The only things that I really know about Jamo is he kind of showed up on the scene and got really good really fast. I can't say that I've really personally interacted with him. My recent time in Rando has been a little curtailed by my own
Right.
things in my
Yeah.
life that don't matter to anybody listening to the restream. But yeah, you have Beer, you've got Fear Agent, a couple of really pretty long time names in the community, and they just kind of managed to pick up a really, really solid third.
Yeah, I think that that's 100% true. Like, from what I've seen of Jamo, like, they are, like you mentioned, like, hit the scene, got really good really fast, like, was seeing his name popping up on ladder quite a bit and performing quite well on ladder. I want to say a couple of the guys who are more like NMG inclined mentioned, I think, that he does some NMG or has some times on the board. But yeah, no, like, 3 off the tee is a pretty scary team, if I do say so myself. Like, they're not joking around. Well, they might be, but, you know, their gameplay is good.
Yeah, I think the only problem that I have with the entirety of their team is that they couldn't finish the ear trio, because we've got Fear, we've got Beer, and then we've got Jamo.
Okay, you heard it, Jamo.
This is
Assuming you're listening
this is
back.
the only problem I have with this entire team is that Jamo doesn't finish the set.
Jamo, you need to change your name to either Jirmo or Jamir. Or Jamo just added ear to the end of his name. Ear. Yeah, I'm not shocked at all to see where Beer got that Moon Pearl and Mids. Like, he's already in VOO. Kaizen's on his way there. And then we had a Hyrule Castle Small in Sea House. I think that is the first our runners have found. That's another kind of weird little thing, is like the Hyrule Castle Big and the Hyrule Castle Smalls are in the pool somewhere. So just doing escape is a whole new kind of adventure to add in.
Yeah, you can drop in, you can go to map chest if you want. That guard's got an item as well, so there are a couple of relatively quick checks there. We've got the glove, so you can drop into the back for 3, but then you just kind of sit there and you look at a bunch of locked doors behind small keys that normally things will just drop for you in that dungeon, and you don't have to worry about it. And instead, it's one more little pressure point where the seed says, well, you might not find this until you're fishing around in GT Basement. Good luck, have fun.
Right? Which that has logical implications. I want to say the key rat, which members of the community have been affectionately naming Frederick. Frederick and I want to say the cell, Zelda Cell and the Ball and Chain Guard, they're all locked behind, I believe, 4 small keys, when realistically, like, you can get them with 3. It's just the logical implication of it.
And then, as with other checks that you may or may not have to open, there's the possibility that you might be able to save scum a key or 2 if you don't find anything that's really worth your while. But
Right.
again, that comes with its own opportunity and time costs, and you have to decide as a player, as a team, when or if it makes sense to do that.
Right, of course. Okay, was I mistaken earlier whenever... Okay, beer. Oh, so close. So close. He almost had the 99.
Yep.
It's
more
going
of a
back to what I
timing
was...
thing than anything.
Yeah, going back to what I was saying before I got, distracted by the 99 strat attempt. Was I totally mistaken earlier whenever Beer and Kazin had gotten the Swamp Smalls out of Agina's cave, in that was the 4th known small? Or... Because I only see 3 at most on our guys' trackers, and so I don't know if they just didn't pick up the 4th available or what.
It feels unlikely that everybody would rush Agina for a Swamp Small right this second. But once you know it's there, but you don't have access to the dungeon yet, it seems a little iffy time-wise to just go rushing over there. So I'm operating under the assumption that we know where 4 are rather than 3, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay, so thank you, Wally. So one of the 4 was at the dig spot, which is the one that Jammo and Jesse each have, whereas Kazin and Beer have the Agina one.
Okay, so the runners who made the Saha Eastern play earlier and
Yes.
picked up the shovel have... Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
checks out.
That makes a lot more sense for sure. Yeah, I appreciate it, Wally, for the clarification. Speaking of swamp, there's a swamp map in, Pinball Room of Skull Woods, which is, like, not anything important necessarily, but actually, I truthfully don't remember if this branch uses maps and compasses still for, like, boss logic, if that makes sense.
For dungeon prize logic, I
Yeah,
think so, but don't hold me to that.
that's fair. We'll just, drop that as a option and move on. That is some vibrantly red water. Palette truffle. Horrifying viewers since 20x.
It's forever ago, yeah.
Yeah. It's like sometime.
Probably since the Mega Man 2 years.
Oh, man.
Whichever year that was.
Okay, so interesting thing here. So Kazan is doing the same thing as Beer as far as, following the flippers to uh the east area here, but with a change in that, Kazan's bringing Jeremiah along. Beer is going to take his one pod small and head to pod. I have mixed feelings about this slightly, only because pod is so dense and the keys don't change. Like, there are no pot keys in here, right? So this is going to be, one key. There's only, I believe, shooter, basement, and bridge in logic by doing this. And of course, like, you can get right side with a mimic clip, which is a non-issue, but I have mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, and this, you certainly would have to think that, barring something like a mirror coming out, that this is the end of Beer's route either way.
Right. Like, he's not going to run back out for catfish. That's not happening.
There's another one of those swamp smalls.
Wait, where was that at?
Shooter room.
No, that was
Or was
GT.
that was it?
Yeah.
I can read, honestly. I can read.
You're good, man. Ganon's Tower, Swamp Palace. There's some letters that are the same. It's tricky.
Yeah, that's bad when you only catch the tail end of the text box. You're like, I could swear that said swamp, but no.
You're good. Okay, so we got a big key to Mire. That is in logic, but we don't really have a flute to do anything with it. Oh, and Beer's not even bothering with the mimic clip. Maybe because Jammo found another key on Mountain here? I'm not...
Yeah, I'm not sure. That it may just be one of those. It's not in logic. That my mimic clip, maybe he just doesn't think his mimic clip feels good today, and he's decided that he doesn't want to spend the time on it, and it's entirely possible.
Yeah. That's honestly very true. Like, that, sometimes there's just days where your skills and tech are just not wanting to cooperate with you. Like, despite the fact that it's like, I know how to do this, and sometimes it just doesn't want to work. Lana pointed out we did get Swamp 5 in Paradox.
Yeah, I was going to wait and see if anybody said it because I wasn't sure it wasn't another GT key.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred. I feel like I traumatized you. Oh my gosh.
No, and there were only, what, 7 or 8 of those GT keys grand total? There were a ton of them.
Yeah, I think 8 is right. Hang on, I have notes for this. I took notes. Let's see. GT has, it's on the second page of my notes, 8 small keys total. You need 6 to full clear it, 2 to climb. If you have 5 small keys, you can skip Fire Bar Room. I literally have a notebook that I have written all this down into.
It's like everything becomes Ice Palace, and when you want to try and figure out what can be done where, you need to have notes.
Oh my gosh, dude. Seriously, I am not kidding when I say I have been keeping track on my end. Like, if I'm in a dungeon, I keep track of everything literally on a notebook in front of me. I'll be moving with my left hand and then writing something down with my right hand. And it's an adventure. We'll leave it at that.
Just wait for week 6 if you like trying to track things and move at the same time. When nothing's where it's supposed to be as soon as you enter a dungeon. Hello, beginner doors. You aren't a nightmare to track at all.
Honest truth, this might be bad, but beginner doors, I don't track like anything in beginner doors. Like let me rephrase. I have my auto tracker doing like the normal legal amount of tracking, right? But as far as keeping track where to go, I am not able to keep track of all of that. Like it's not happening. I would need like a Charlie Day level like conspiracy theory chart to just figure out what am I doing, and I would look about as crazed as he does in that episode. Oh hey, we getting a Zora check. I think maybe we've had that on JKLOL side. I don't know.
I don't remember seeing the fish pop up, but I could be wrong about that. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of things. Okay, wait, that's Swamp Big. Okay, so Kazan has that. So yes, he has done the Zora things. At the very least, he has done Zora Ledge, even if he hasn't done Zora himself. So with 5 known Swamp Smalls, Swamp Big, we're just a mirror away realistically from it. We're just gonna ignore Hammer. You know, that obviously is not totally not important for Swamp anymore, right? Right.
Yeah, we'll just specky around that. We've already got the hook shot, which is what you need.
Yeah.
It's like a replacement hammer.
it's pseudo hammer.
Man, I'm not really the biggest fan of pseudo boots, but if you want to tell me that the hook shot is a pseudo hammer and give me that, I'll take it.
I mean, I'm good with that. I will accept it. Wait. So, pretty sure Jesse has red mail. Kazan just went out of his way to get blue mail. And like a key, but still blue mail. Coward.
One of those things, particularly in co-op, is at some point you start counting on the fact that at this level of play, at the invitational level of play, your teammate is not going to really bother telling you where all the heart containers are, especially in something like this where you're trying to track an entire slew of additional keys that normally nobody has to worry about. So you're probably not going to wind up quite as healthy and as safe as you might otherwise if you were just playing the seed on your lonesome.
Yeah, this is true. Well, especially too, since, you know, when you really think about it, a majority of our health, like, yes, it's heart containers, but also you get a lot of just random heart pieces that over time really add up into extra bits of health. And you're definitely not sharing where those are. Like, that's so minimal that who cares? I will say it's kind of funny to me to see that, at least for a bit here, like Beer and Kazan are kind of doing like the same like route-ish with like some adjustments, but I'm I'm intrigued by this on Beer's side. Are we gonna see him use a key to check Frederick? Wait.
Well, there goes the key, so the answer is yes.
Okay, well, this could be something really, like, honestly, this could be a big deciding factor here because Okay, look, GT Small, aka a Swamp Palace Small. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it may be depending on what the actual logic is in Swamp Palace. That GT key could be locking a Swamp Palace key. It's possible.
No, that's fair.
It seems pretty unlikely given that we've already got 5 of them, but it's not impossible yet.
Yeah. Oh, Beer, did we run up here and forget to... Okay. No, it's okay. Everything is good. You got your TR Small. And, you know, Boom Chest is dead until you get another Hyrule Castle Small and the Hyrule Castle Big. Like, this is fine. Jason, please. Why? That was a piece of heart, sir. Why? I'm so confused.
I don't know. It does seem like we've kind of reached the point where everybody feels like, well, we've got to start diving dungeons. We've done the things we can do on the overworld, and well, we don't really have the clear ability on dungeons that we might want, and we're gonna have to start jumping in anyway.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're like Kaizen going to get that Ice Palace Small from Eastern. I have a feeling we're about to see him heading towards Ice. And then, which is a bummer because like you're not beating it unless you find a hammer somewhere in there. And routing this is going to be a little bit on the strange side too. Beer's just saying bye to Magic too while doing the chase down. Beer. I don't know why, but Beer chasing the anti-barrier around just tickled me.
Yeah, we'll just play a little yakety sax in the background. We'll dub that in post. It'll be fine.
Easy to add in, right? This is good. Okay, so Beer getting his Saha's Closet, getting his shovel, which will give him Swamp 5. I think the big thing that these guys have got to be looking for right now, is we're really looking for a mirror, I feel like. Like, you have a mirror, you know exactly where you're going next.
Yeah, you split up. One person goes to Swamp Palace, and one person does all of the other awful things that a mirror lets you do.
Well, even Hera, if you think about it too. Like, you've got a Hera big and a Hera small. Like, Hera's fully in logic. Though we don't really want to obviously talk about the basement being a thing because screw the basement.
Terrible time-consuming checks that nobody wants to do, but especially when you start talking about co-op, somebody winds up getting pushed into them anyway.
Mm-hmm. This is the truth. Oh, hey, look.
Well, that's
found the mirror.
A fancy place for that.
Yeah.
You're the one with the list, Leo. How many Ice Palace Smalls is that behind?
Well, behind or... So, realistically, you can get that with just one. Just the one to get through the initial berry key. But, because then you can go do your normal stuff and you have a hook shot, so that's not an issue. You can get to hook shot side. Now, Ice Palace wise, Ice has 6. To be able to full clear it, you really only need 2 and to hit the switch, but that I think also assumes that you have not Samaria hookshot. If you don't hit the switch, you need 3. But I will say I also wrote down that 4 is extra nice. Beer using the gift of the conveyor belt to get this death warp. Haze? Kazin, please, you have a mirror. You didn't have to death warp.
I don't know, maybe the
What?
pit was just so inviting.
I hate it so much. I have so many questions right now. You know what? Lana was taking notes on things to like mock at the end of the race. Like I need to just go ahead and put these. So we've got blue mail, we've got just all the things. Yeah, so I think this is going to be Kazin going for Conveyor Belt Berry now, which is nothing. And on Jesse's side, we're getting that Mimic clip.
Mimic? What Mimic? My goodness, that was fast.
I've seen that done faster. Not really. I had to meme. That has been a comment before. And a comment towards Jesse. Okay, so Desert Small. I missed what the other...
TR small.
Okay, so 2 very good small keys. Okay, so Jammer with this mirror is gonna, I'm assuming, do Smith Chain down into Swamp. Kazin is gonna get his Swamp Small first. I will say that I think, personally, I think that Kazin maybe should have done this from the Dark World so he could hit Cave 45 also. But I get it. Yes, my Endium.
Yes.
We were so maybe fixated on the mirror and the Kazin shenanigans. Yeah, buddy, you don't have a hammer. They got
we
a
kind of
bow.
neglected the bow. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I saw Kasten get it, and I forget what happened in the next couple of seconds before I got that out of my mouth. That oh hey, they found a bow. That yeah, but no.
Well, I think
that's the thing
that was immediately into the him trying to jump into the whole death warp. With the mirror, and so it just kind of went out the brain.
But we do have that mirror split up between 2 different dungeons. We've got Jamo, who's going to be down by Swamp Palace here after he turns in the purple chest momentarily, and Beer is up the mountain doing Tower of Hera things.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we expected and should get, and that's CT1 right there.
And Eastern Palace Big Key, 6 key locked in the dark maze of Palace of Darkness.
I want to say Eastern 2 was somewhere in the back of there as well. Maybe Hellway? And apparently Flute was in the back of Pod. So that's a lot of good information that Jesse just pulled out of Pod by going there with literally just 1 more key than Beer did earlier.
Yeah, and even though Pod is basically the one place where that key count does not change on you, again, it's that general key sanity thing of, well, how many keys makes this work out in my favor? And in this particular instance, JKLOL going with that 1 additional key has just pulled a treasure trove of items and keys.
I just realized they couldn't have been Hellway. I regret my earlier statement. Okay, Kaysen's saying no to Bombo's tablet right now, I guess hoping for that, you know, good old always a sword and swamp meme instead of checking Bombo's tablet.
And depending on what else pops out from there, maybe he... Well, you've got the mirror, you know where the flute is as a member of JKLOL. I can't imagine you really giving any serious consideration to front dooring into Desert Palace again, regardless of what keys you may get out of Swamp now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just, I guess, hope you pull that second sword, and then you can spike whatever's on Bombo's tablet, rather than potentially having to go back for it. Sure, why not?
Right. We did get CT2 there in the swamp lobby pot. So number 2 there, and then chat is saying number 3 was on Bombo's tablet. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I know Kaysen didn't check it, so it had to have been maybe Jammo checking it before coming in, but...
Yeah, there are a lot of eyes out there in chatland. I certainly believe that some eagle-eyed chatter out there absolutely could have caught it.
Yep. And by the way, there's our meme right there. Always a sword and swamp right there on left side pot. Yeah, and I have to imagine, like, we're gonna see Kaysen doing the exact same thing here. Like, we're gonna get a full clear of swamp at this point. With as many keys as these guys have, like, I don't see how you not. Like, I don't see how you don't. Oh. And Kaysen's out of bombs.
That's exciting. There are a few underpots in this dungeon. You can scoop a couple up if you need to.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So Jesse had just finished getting his mirror and all the goodies from Ice Palace, right? He's not doing Hera. He's taking the things that he got from the back of Pod, and he's going back into Eastern here to kind of finish it out.
Yeah, when the game gives you a bow, you've got that activated flute now, so you've got easy access to 5. Sure, why not? Why not go find out what else is here?
Yeah, I'm kind of here for this. Like, the stuff is out of logic, but why not just, you know, play what the game gave you? Like, you have all these keys. You can full clear this entire dungeon. Plus, maybe, well, no, he's skipping pot. Pardon me, pot key, so he must have checked it earlier, but yeah.
Doesn't look like Jamo has really pulled anything interesting out of the back portion of Swamp Palace here. Compass, piece of heart, maybe some sticks.
Yeah.
Small denominations of cash or something.
Yeah, as I'm looking, I don't see anything that's screaming at me. Maybe a Hyrule Castle small? Because he has 3? Oh wait, no, he does not. He has 2. Never mind. Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's so funny because of the on our end, like the Discord stream uh being a little bit on the like a little on the blurry side, right? Like it's not too crazy, but like whenever I saw 10 arrow pickup, my brain kind of went to non-progressive bows for a second. I was like, oh, silver arrows. Teehee.
Ah, I remember those days.
Mm-hmm. Um, yes, did you happen to catch what Jesse just got off of Armos?
I did not. I believe he pulled a crystal out of the dungeon, though, which is nice.
He sure did. Pod big.
Yeah, I don't know that he's pulled any more pod smalls yet, though, so it only does him
No.
so much good. He could, if he had really wanted to, done a whole bit of rigmarole to go back over there and check the big chest, but it does feel like he's got some better options at the moment.
Like apparently Misery Mire. I don't know that we've seen anybody come over here yet.
Well, JKLOL are the only ones who know where that flute is just yet,
Oh,
although
yeah.
it looks like Jama was heading in the correct direction. Well, there's Ether, so now we've got the entirety of the coin collection and another sword. You're not going to turn that down. That's a pretty easy one to say, hey, buddy, go snag that when you have to come to the Mire area later.
Yeah, no, that's a really lovely sword. We will happily take that. Okay, there we go. CT3 on Balbo's tablet. Absolutely confirmed now that we've gotten it. Beer, I so appreciate the bow attempts here. I think he still got at least 1 or 2 hits on it.
And if I'm reading Jesse's tracker here right, we needed bombos for Mire, which is what he's using right now, so that was pretty easy. But that Ether medallion that he found in Mire Shack is the answer for getting into Turtle Rock, so that's something else that we needed, and now at least JKOL has it.
Yeah, this is a good thing. This is... Words are hard. Yeah, this is absolutely a... Why is my brain shutting down? Holy cow. I'm just gonna take a second to reset. Holy cow. Leo.exe has stopped responding.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that 3 off the tee is not going to miss. Mire Shack is not 2 checks that you're just going to say, oh, I'm not going to check that unless you're playing spoiler, and we're not playing spoiler.
Right. Thank you. That I really appreciate that was what I needed. Okay, that's Hyrule Castle Small 4. So everything except for Zelda Cell is available now. Which I don't know about you or anybody else that has played this mode in chat, but like I don't think I see myself going to escape now until I get that big key. And if it's vanilla or French vanilla, just like, oh well.
Yeah, it really feels like the kind of situation where the game is going to have to force me to make that play. I guess if I get into a situation where I'm also going to make some checks in Castle Tower, then maybe it becomes a little more palatable to go ahead and have that look at whatever's in the rest of the front of Escape as well.
Oh, Jama missing the hammer yump. I kind of think I want to learn this setup where it's the bomb as opposed to the sword as opposed to the shadow with pause buffers. But I know, like, once you have a strat so ingrained, it's hard to want to alter it. But it
Which
does
is the
save
reason why you
time.
see a bunch of different parapods and a few different
Mhm.
lineups for icebreaker and so on and so forth. Sometimes it just depends on what was the way to do it when I learned it.
Right. One fun thing, you know, a very... Oh, Swamp 6, wow. A very, you know, never really seen room, but we've been seeing it quite a lot this week. Good old Fishbone.
Yeah, normally it's a small key here, and Mire is not something where you really have to worry about it, but that's
required.
that's required.
That is important. That is something that something tells me we're going to see Kaysden booking it to pod here pretty shortly. Because, holy cow. Here's what's wild, though. That flute was, you said, 6 key locked in pod?
The Eastern Palace Big Key was. The flute
Right.
may have been 4.
Okay. So, if that's the case, I feel like... Okay, well, with Eastern being a crystal, that means, like, these 6 pod smalls have to be available. Like, before GT, I mean.
Yeah, the game definitely has to make them available. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be on a terribly good path, of course.
No. Yeah, because we've only found, I believe, 3? Maybe 4? I know cutscene was just 1, but I'm almost certain that we've only found at most 4, which I guess puts the flute in logic, but like having to dip pod with, you know, less than ideal keys probably to get your flute to then go to Mire to get your hammer. Mire Fishbone at that.
Ooh, Jamo losing control of his Armos Knights fight here just a little bit.
Yeah, doing his best to recover it. Didn't run out of arrows, but, you know, this Vidi fight on Jesse's side, this is, I think, exactly why we saw him buy that arrow upgrade before he came this way. Oh.
And this is one of those situations where you go back and you think about the way co-op kind of plays tricks with what your health pool is. If you were playing this seed solo, it's entirely possible that you've already got Tempered Sword here, that you're working on at least a couple of hearts into the second row, and all of a sudden you can do a much more normal kind of NMG style Vitreous fight. But here you come in with just a handful of hearts and Master Sword, and not really a lot of great backups. So yeah, picking up that that arrow upgrade from the upgrade fairy before coming in makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna say, like, Thieves 2 dropping on Vidi, pretty interesting. Especially since Jesse seems to have the knowledge that Thieves is a pendant, or at least that's what his tracker says. Which, I mean, I'm gonna guess he has the mirror, or not the mirror, the map for it. And like when he was there, he was just able to see that. But I'm intrigued mostly because like that means that, you know, third small key could be literally wherever, right? It could be GT, it could be anywhere.
Some terrible one-off thing. I don't know, has anybody gone to all the trouble of doing Hera Basement yet? Because we did find that key.
Yes, Kaysden did Hera Basement when he was up there.
Ah, alright. So, not there.
No, I don't think it was anything, but I'll be completely honest. I kind of started watching GMO's Armos fight around that time or something like that.
Yeah, speaking of, Jamo spending one of those 4 Desert Palace Smalls to come over here onto the right-hand side.
Yeah, and having already done the rest, man, the guys really are needing a Desert Big, because going all the way back for like the desert pots that are back there along the way, it's a bit of a time sink. Like, it takes a good amount of time, especially if you know you're gonna have to go back anyway. Like, if you've already dipped it, going back feels bad.
Certainly you're in a position where you want to try to minimize those additional dips as much as possible. You get teams running into situations where you think, well, we've got to check this, but... And then all of a sudden you realize you've dipped the same dungeon 3 times and you're still going to have to go back again.
Right.
This mode can really play that trick on you if you're not careful.
Yeah, it can be very, very rude. Man, Jesse is getting all the swamp knowledge about, like, hey, skip this, that, and the other. Let's see if Kaysden managed to tell him where the sword was.
Meanwhile, it feels like 3 off the tee has really been kind of chasing each other around for the past little while now. It seems like they feel like they've hit the route. Either that or they've just run out of things where they feel like they can split up because they've been in pod to Eastern to activate the flute. Now they're both in the Mire area. Jamo's in Mire. It looks like Beer may split up and do a little desert checking here really quick, but it feels like they're just going to continue to be in kind of the same area together for a little while longer, whereas JKLOL has still kind of managed to keep themselves apportioned a bit.
I know that that's something that, like, during practice, the guys have been really actively trying to do a lot more in this mode, is to very much just split up the checks. Like, don't, like, try really, really hard to not be in the same place as somebody else. That was pod 5 at the back of desert there, the last pot before Landmo. So, pod's looking, you know, pretty great. Like, that's a beatable Armos, good grief. Beatable Helmosaur. Maybe not in logic, but still pretty good. Wow, Jesse not even going for the 0 cycle.
That trick's not easy, but
No.
was it Jamo or Beer who was doing the double pokes with Master Sword? That
Yeah.
trick is not easy.
No, it's not. It's not. Which is why I feel like giving Jesse crap for not, you know, even trying is just funny.
Here's Jamo in Fishbone Room going to fish up that hammer.
Which is good, because Beer is right there to high-five his teammate. What you didn't see is they were both in the door, and they, like, really, like, had, like, their secret handshake high-five going on. Okay, so at this point, I feel like we are in a bit of like dungeon cleanup while still checking things, right? Like, I'm not saying that we're not in, you know, full on go, because we still need rods, right? We still very much need fire rod, ice rod. We need a desert big.
Yeah, the game has been more than a little stingy when it comes to certain things. We had to fish around a lot for the mirror, for instance, and then that hammer location was honestly pretty ugly. And yet and still, we have not pulled any rods yet, and we're still working on the key count as well.
Yeah, and I think, and please, folks, like, Mayanium and chat, like, call me out if I am wrong here, but if I am reading maps and trackers correct, like, we don't know what Skullwoods is as far as if it's a pendant or not, because if it's a pendant, then there's nothing stopping that fire rod from being in GT at this point.
It seems entirely possible from everything I'm looking at here. Don't see any reason to say you're wrong.
I'm glad I'm not crazy. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Well. Alright, getting our first cold stare kill / attempt here on top right of your screen. No fire rod today, but we do have tempered. We have, I'm pretty certain red mail, but I could be wrong. I think that's red mail on the Night Sprite. Okay, dude.
And let's see if Beer is still following Jamo, or if we're finally going to get a little split up of... Alright, those three off the tee is finally going to split back up a little bit. They'd been really trailing each other closely for probably the past 20 minutes or so, and now we've got a little splitting up action going on again.
I think this is good. I think that this is going to be I think this is going to be good for 3 off the tee. Like, I think that they've been doing so much following the leader a bit that I think they need to do a bit of splitting to kind of share the wealth a little bit. I think we may very well see here the hammer pegs just into thieves, and it's not uncommon at all to just say, you know, thieves big chest, it doesn't exist. Like, it's dead forever. We don't want it.
Ah, Jamo doing my favorite clip in the game. Alright, favorite player.
Well, bro, I can't even lie, though. It's a really, really fun clip. I have not taken the time to learn how to do it, truthfully. But it is really fun.
And that was the really fancy hammer into the spin version too. That was really nicely done. I appreciate that on every level.
Well, we know who my Indium's pulling for? Just Jammo. Who needs his teammate, right? Just Jammo's the winner here.
Clearly, Jamo's carrying that team.
Yeah, this is not the team that you were supposed to carry. That's right.
No, that had to be somebody else's job. I already had a job.
Yep. Look, I think it is fair to say that you carried that team very well. All the way to Invitational, one might say.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place that I dropped them off. We'll see how it goes for them this year.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure so far, I think they've played one of their matches. Maybe they've played both, but I want to say that they won game 1.
They won game 1. Game 2 is going to be tomorrow, in point of fact. So.
Gotcha. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, that was, I believe, Pod 6 in Blind Cell?
I mean, again, we knew that the game had to make them logically accessible because the Eastern Palace Big for a crystal was 6 key locked. We knew they were somewhere. It was just really the matter of where. And yeah, Blind Cell, that's relatively easily accessible even in this mode.
Yeah. Oh snap! I missed Jesse picking up the Hyrule Castle Big.
Oh, the Hyrule Castle Big, I neglected to mention it the second time I saw it. It's in H room here. And Kaysen's now not going to get it because Jesse was just able to tell him that he doesn't need it.
Good timing.
Timing is one of those interesting things in co-op, isn't it? It's always interesting to see when does it work out, when is the split just those 15 seconds different in the other direction and you wind up spending a little extra time. And one of those things at this level, it comes down to those few handful of seconds here, there. What can you skip? What can you make sure that your partner does get to skip?
And I think it's something that is often not really like talked about on, I think maybe the commentator side is like, you can have teams making really great decisions with the information that they have, but sometimes part of the co-op game is literally just the timing with which certain items are got, and the decisions being altered based on that timing is really kind of an interesting part of co-op.
Yeah, I'll go back to a couple of games earlier in the week, the 2 games with Pugs and Crystal Roller Crew, where the 2 games were a real case study in, well, game 1 it worked out for one side, game 2 it worked out for the other.
Yeah. Like, and I don't know about you, but I find like those kinds of like decisive moments in races to be really, really fascinating, because it's just like, if you had gotten X item like 10 seconds earlier or later or whatever, like how much does that change in, you know, in the rest of the seed? It's very like philosophical.
It's certainly the sort of thing where there's no way for you to plan it. It's just sometimes you have to let serendipity and rando take their course, and one game it'll work out for you and maybe the next one it doesn't. And sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't.
So this is kind of heads up, I will say, on both teams' part, because I see it tracked on Beer's side as well. You know, with AD modes, I know a lot of folks don't, or AD keys specifically, folks will not bother to check their maps, right? Like they'll talk to Saha to figure out where the green pennant is, and then just whatever drops. But something that kind of gets overlooked sometimes with that is the 5-6 crystals. But both teams are really on it about like, hey, what are the 5-6 crystals? Do I have Big Bomb available? And we're seeing those checks right now on Kaizen's side. While in an upcoming Helma fight, that was Ice Rod?
Ice Rod.
Okay. But the bee! Oh my god, stop everything. Look at this beautiful... Oh, it's gone! The beautiful Helma mask. It was gorgeous. Helma looked fabulous. I'm still in like mode a little bit from that Helma mask. Like that was just, it was so pretty. But getting back into focus mode here. So we've got Jamo going down, going to do he did Big Bomb into front of escape here, so he's going to get the information on the boomerang chest room in general to get the guard as well. And he's going to get the ball and chain guard and Zelda cell, be able to tell Beer, yo, it's nothing, just a Burna, which they already have a cape, so whatever. And then I have a feeling we're gonna see oh man, I want to say we'd see Jamo go to these, but he may very well just completely put that off until late. Ooh. Something I didn't think of. We are going to see Jamo actually go ahead and dip the front of CT here, or I made a liar. Never mind. Thanks, Jamo. All right, well, while we kind of have a little bit of following each other's footsteps here for a moment, I do want to go ahead and shout out these guys, these runners, Jamo and Homemade Beer from 3 Off the Tee, and Jesse and Kaizen from JKLOL. They are doing an incredible thing with the, you know, the whole racing whatnot. I also just noticed, and I need to fix that in just a moment, but I just noticed it doesn't have the correct winner noted, but that's fine from the previous race. But 3 Off the Tee did take game 1, but Jesse and Kaizen are hoping to be able to take one off of Jamo and Beer now to be able to make the week an even match. Would feel good, but also, you know, that was a really, really nice cold stare on Beer's side. But yeah, go give them a follow.
More crystals, yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, collecting more crystals. Go ahead and follow the runners. They'll all put on a show for your entertainment of given day.
Indeed, indeed. I think I can do it like this. Enter. I hope that will fix it. There we go. Yeah. All right, cool. So Um, yeah, give those guys a follow for sure. I will say that they have been doing an absolutely incredible job. If you don't already follow Speed Gaming 2, follow Speed Gaming 2 because you're here right now. How hard is it to hit the little heart button? Spoiler alert, it's not hard. And yeah, I'm kind of gonna be curious here, like, do we see a TR dip here from Jamo? Like, TR key-wise, we only have 4 smalls. When realistically, you need 5 to be able to beat the dungeon, but we also don't have a fire rod anyway.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like we're going to wind up finding the rest of those TR keys probably tucked away in GT Basement along with the fire rod.
Yeah, at this
really
point,
possible at that point.
like, the only information at this point I think we don't have is Desert and Skull. One of them is a pendant, one of them is a crystal. Jamo has the map for Desert, and so case please, Jamo could very easily check that, and then 3 off the T would have map info. And this is Fear doing the CT checks that we had talked about earlier that Jamo didn't. So chest 1, nothing, but we'll see what the Maze and the Bogard have in store here. Those are going to be the last things that we can get. Oh no, we can get all of them. We just can't beat Aga at the moment.
Yeah, and the left side check in the front of TR was that Desert Palace big.
Okay. So that's a Desert Palace beatable, and I fully agree with Jamo here. Like, you do those first few checks there, and with Desert of Crystal, which that's what he just checked, that's good information for 3 off the T, because now they're going to be in GT mode they're in GT mode now.
Yep, you look at the inventory, you say, well, these are the things I'm still missing. If they only go to Pendant Dungeons, well, they can all be hiding out in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I'm curious your take on... Oh, I guess just with the information that Beer got about GT mode, Beer decided I'm not going to check the... No, I'm dumb. Circle of Pots is the last one. I need to just, again, have a moment. I imagine we're going to see, the same thing, leaving pretty immediately. Kaizen's getting his TR smalls. I think we're going to probably see him heading up that way as well. But, yeah, GT mode for these guys is huge. I really think that this is the right call to just kind of rush the back of Desert. I will be curious if Jamo goes to Thieves to just take care of it real quick, or because he has to come back down anyway, if he's just gonna say, screw it, I'm going to GT.
I would suspect he'll make the play straight for GT, and the reasoning being, you're going to find a fire rod eventually and have to come to this area, to the Thieves 3 portal area, to do Skull anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I think that that's the call. What... Okay, so I'm looking at trackers here. So Beer and Kazdin do not have GT Big. Was that in Thieves? Or... No, it couldn't have been in Thieves because Beer doesn't have it, but Jamo does.
silly check was that in?
Like, I have to imagine both Kazin and Jammo are going to get it here shortly. It's just, you know. Kazin, this circle of pots is rough, buddy. Okay, so right now we've got Jammo on his way to GT. Kazin has to beat, what is happening? Has to beat Desert Palace before he can go to GT, and he also has to find wherever the GT big key is, which I'm guessing Jesse has told him where it is. Well, no, he has to get his Desert Big. That's what's happening here. But, okay. So Jesse still has to beat Pod, and then he can go to GT. Or he still has to beat Desert too. Gosh. I'm so, like, having a moment.
That was a fancy 6-pod small locked TR small, by the way.
Especially since there was Pod 6 in TR Big. Just there on Beer's side.
This game sometimes, Leo, I'll tell you what.
Right?
My
right?
Goodness.
This is something. Also, this is kind of a ballsy play by Beer to say, you know what? I'm not going to go to Desert yet because you're going to do that. I'm going to go all the way through to Laser Bridge. And if I find something cool and you check the TR or the GT things, like if Beer finds Fire Rod here, that's freaking huge.
Just small refill so far.
And nothing. Oh, and that was Sankart. The last chest of Laser Bridge.
Timely, except not.
Yeah, except not. No way, dude. So we're scumming. That's why he death warped.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I mean, you're in a position where you may as well. Your next play is over to Desert.
Yeah. Hyrule Castle 4. Thieves 3 was on Magic Bat.
Ooh, that's kind of an ugly spot for that.
Well, and Kazin hasn't beat Thieves yet. So Kazin's going to be able to get that.
To hinge on Thieves Town Big Chest.
Oh my gosh, I'm like... This is wild. Okay, so let's... I'm going to focus in on Jammo here for a second. So Jammo has found CT4 in GT. A shock to absolutely nobody, of course. So they are now Fire Rod Go, and I believe a TR small. Well, GMO just needs another TR small, really. But they have knowledge of where one is. And Jammo has received full blessings. So really, at this point, I think it's fairly safe to say, like, JKLOL needs the fire rod to be in Thieves' basement. Needs to be in the Thieves' big chest.
That does appear to be their out at the moment.
Because I don't see another check, realistically, that could give them a different out. But these are, I think, the last 3 right here. And they're not there. Like, so Jamo's getting ready to climb. There's 5 checks here on the climb. Chat, we're getting to where, like, where do you think Fire Rod is at this point? I see a little bit of Gamma V Shin happening. Here we go. And it is not Thieves Big.
Alright, we are running out of locations for that fire rod to be.
Yeah, at this point, I think we're looking at, oh, that's where GT Big was. It was the, on the way to the back of Skull Woods in the pot. I think at this point, it's almost assuredly climb. I'm trying to think of what else we haven't seen. Like, it literally can't be on Ped. Ped is dead. It cannot be in the back of Skull Woods because that's fire rod locked. It can't be on Trinex or Saha. So I think it has to be just up here on the climb.
Did we see LJL at some point?
Oh.
Not that that's a great out for JKLOL, since 3 off the tee already has all of the Castle Tower smalls, but it's a thought.
I don't know if... I don't know if Kaysen scouted it. Oh no, Jamo forgot that he didn't have Fire Rod and had to kind of wait out the torches.
Yeah, you feel like you've been playing the game for 90 minutes, you're just going to have all of the equipment at this point, and you can use your usual strat in the room. Well, sometimes not so much.
Right. Okay. Oh, look, half magic. Okay, there's only 2 more checks here in the climb. There it is. Alright, pre-Moldorm chest. With that, 3 of the T is in go mode. Especially since Jamo did get a TR small from the GT big chest, so he's not going to have to go and do anything crazy or have to, you know, go find something or a TR small that Beer has somewhere else. He is full on go. Still does have to do Thieves, Skull, and TR still, as well as CT, but we're going to see him do CT immediately after finishing Aga 2 so that he can save and quit. Mandium, I'm going to let you answer that one from chat.
Which one?
Does Beer mirror after that fire rod pickup?
I mean, he's a gigantic memer, but I can't possibly say yes to that.
I mean, it would just give us something really to talk about in the interview, if he does.
Maybe if it's tactical.
Ooh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's a completely accidental mirror, and then he says, well, I'm down at the bottom of the tower anyway, why don't I just go clear out Trinex while I'm thinking about it?
That's fine. Yeah.
Although I feel like you generally, if you put yourself in that position, your first thought is not, oh, I can use this to my quote-unquote advantage. It's, well, now I have to reclimb this dumb tower again.
Yeah, it's, I can't believe that I just did that. You know, something pretty nice about this is the free silvers that we had on Landmo 1.
Yeah, you're certainly not going to miss them. They're right there in the path.
Hazen? Hazen, what are we doing? Didn't Jesse do these? Or is this checking? No? Hellway, I guess?
I guess.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
That seems a little extra thorough, perhaps, but
yeah.
I guess since Jesse's been in GT this long and still hasn't pulled a fire rod, the worry starts to be, well, did we just make the wrong call vis-a-vis 6 keys in Palace of Darkness and we just left the thing we're looking for there? Wouldn't have been the first time.
Kazan doesn't have the GT Big.
Oh no.
And I know he doesn't have it because the dude auto tracks. He hasn't gone to Skull. That's not good.
Skull mid key pop?
Yeah. Heck, red rank. On Beer's side. But, is this... Okay, so Kazan's now doing what Beer did earlier, which... I guess for the sake of splitting up, and maybe, like, while climbing up, Kazan realized he didn't get the big key, so he's like, well, I'm gonna just make the most out of the mountain trip. But I feel like... Ooh.
Could just be, okay, here's my backup strat, because I forgot to do the thing that I needed to do before I came up here.
Yeah? Alright, and then we've got Jamo here going to do his Skull and Thieves, or Thieves and Skull, whatever order, doesn't matter. But then he will mirror and flute to 1 to finish off Trinex, and then save and quit to the pyramid, and just have to drop in to kill a pig.
Yeah, there's still a little work to be done. The time you're going to have to spend running through all of these dungeons is not negligible, but we are kind of on the home stretch at this point.
Yeah. At this point, I think Kazan is just kind of really hoping that he finds it in TR. But,
he has to be thinking, alright, if it's here, I get everything that I need to fix my mistake. Because then I can clear Skull Woods, I can pick up the key that I needed on the way, that everything checks out. Albeit accidentally, everything checks out.
Yeah. Unfortunately. We have the knowledge that not gonna happen. And incoming mirror from Kazin. Look at that God Gamer in the bottom left corner of your screen, chat. Look how far up Beer got with that hook speed.
And he lost a little distance by getting about half a tile away from the platform, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't even perfect. It was just that good
Right?
anyway.
Right? Like, that was juicy. That was just really lovely. Now, for those of you who like to see chat suffer, or chat, sorry, I don't like to see chat suffer. For those of you in chat who like to see runners suffer, I've got bad news for you. In this particular mode, there are no blue balls, and there are no Ganon warps past the, you know, required I'm porting from the bottom to the top. Everything has been set to 0 because you're already having to do enough in this mode. Also fair Shin. Okay. Both members of 3 Off the Tee on their way to the Moth. You've got Jesse in CT. You've got Kaysden having run back to Skull Woods to get his GT Big. On the way now to CT, where he will climb. I will go ahead and just say, you know, this is currently pretty decidedly in favor of 3 Off the Tee. It's not over, of course, until the fat pig explodes, but still, this is 3 Off the Tee's game to lose at this point. Like, things just really worked out, I think, in the mid to late game very well for them.
It might be interesting to go back and look at the point in time where 3 Off the Tee had really gotten into what looked like hard follow mode for about 20 minutes there, starting about 45 minutes in. But while JKLOL had continued to split up checks, and it really feels like that was where 3 Off the Tee started pulling the distance that you can see in the end game now has very clearly developed.
Yeah, I think where they were following the leader a bit more, they just were picking up dungeon clears by doing so a bit more. Whereas I think JKLOL, where they had split so much, they ended up They ended up going ahead and having to clean up a lot more dungeons at the end of it all. Okay, so I don't know Jammo well enough to be able to throw much shade. Plus, I don't feel like he's given me very much to shade on, but I will echo chat a little bit on that beer moth being mostly rude on Moth's side, but just, you know, because.
Sometimes Moth just does Moth things.
Indeed.
Sometimes you help Moth do Moth things, though.
Also, sorry for the sudden audio switch. I was like, I feel like we've been on, you know, rock for a while. Let's switch over here to Jamos for a bit. Which I believe is the Umineko MSU?
I think he was the one running that, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Mayandum, do you think Beer passes Jamo?
I don't think so at this point. It's not impossible for Jamo to make a mistake, and Beer does have some of these doors open already because he went all the way to Laser Bridge. But yeah, no, I think the Moth stole a little too much for this to be much of a teammate race.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'd ask if you thought that Kazan was gonna pass Jesse, but I'm gonna just answer that for everyone and just say no. Kazan. Pretty sure 3 out of 4 players forget they didn't have the fire rod for this room for Torches 1.
It becomes sadly easy to forget that you don't have the one thing that you've known for half an hour or more that you're still looking for.
Right.
The brain is a mysterious thing, and it doesn't always do what you want it to.
Accurate. Kazan, how dare you, sir? How dare you skip out on half magic? I don't even care if you are behind. I don't care that you made a mistake. You... No, Flip Heel, do not encourage him. Alright, Jamo dropping into Ganon, getting his slashes and whatnot. Gold Sword, free 1-in-1, but we're still even doing dash strats, getting that good practice in, even if practice is cheating.
Green triple double there.
Yup. Alright, get your G in chat for Jamo. Finishing with a race time GG time of 1:41.57. Let me switch over to Beer for like 2.5 seconds here as Beer has his sword up. Get your GGs in chat for Beer and for 3 off the tee. Taking game 2 in this matchup and winning the race. And pretty quickly here after Beer finished, we did get a double forfeit on the side of JKLOL. I totally get it. You know,
There's
not
nothing
wanting to
left
necessarily.
contest there. There's no reason to try to play that string out. There's 3 off the tee's got the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we'll see if we can't get these guys in here for interview things, but get those GGs in chat for everyone because yes, that was honestly a heck of a race. It was really, really, really good, if I do say so myself.
Yeah,
And
we've
hope-
got most of them in the waiting room, but imagine beer not cooperating.
Yeah, right? Look. It's like he was like, you know, Tark admin or something. Oh, wait.
I liked the subtle emphasis on was there.
It was really, really, really subtle. I'm glad you appreciated it. All right. We just had 4 in a row join commentary booth. We're joined by literally the entire teams, minus a fear agent. GG to all 4 of y'all.
GG.
GG's.
GG.
That seed had jokes.
Yep.
Yep.
GG to Jesse for rolling whatever that was.
Yeah, so that damn flute and hammer, like, yeah, we were feeling so bad the whole time. I kept thinking, like, do we have anything else in logic? I was so worried it was going to be hammer on right side pod because Beer didn't want to mimic clip it when he was there. And we were down to like nothing else.
I was like, Gemma, tell
like,
me to mimic clip, and you were like, if you want. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, should I do it? I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, I don't know. I don't do it then. But then when we're down to like only that, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be there. But
Well, and if I remember right, wasn't there a small key over on
There
the
were
ledge?
There were
Yeah,
two small keys on the right side. It was like a TR and
It
a
was
desert
TR
small.
and desert.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole chain was basically you needed 3 desert smalls to get the pod 4 to put the flute in logic. That was like whatever.
yeah,
It was like there was
Yeah.
2 pod smalls early, and then it was the back of desert and the back of thieves were the other 2.
and wait, so did we have to? Was the mirror dipping ice for the mirror? Was that logically required or no?
I
Did we
think so.
Pretty
Sure
sure
we have
it
booked to,
was.
no, we had booked to get into desert.
The mirror gave you a desert key in Hera. But I don't know if you needed that for the pod 4. I don't think you did.
Logically, you would need that, right? Because you need.
Yeah, you would need
Or
3
no.
pod. You would
No,
need 3
you need
desert
3.
smalls
No,
to
'cause we had-
reach.
we had
Wasn't
4,
there a? I'm trying to think. What was in the very, very front of Swamp before you got to?
There was
There
like
was nothing in the
Grandma.
front of swamp.
Yeah,
Everything
so
up from
first swamp
Frankie was
done.
dead.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I went in
never
there.
mind
We both went in there without the hammer, and I'm like, surely this is the progression. And then there's nothing before the hammer. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, we had diverged there. I got into ice, and then Kaze was in desert and got the second ice small, and I'm like, I'm out. So I let him handle ice, and I was like, I'm gonna do the lower Dark World route into pod because I was like 2 keys, it's at least something. So I
you
did
had
that.
you had 2 keys the first time in pod?
Yeah.
Oh man, we
Okay,
were.
yeah,
I went into
that was our
pod.
biggest. That was literally our biggest fear.
Yeah, because
So I
Beer
had
went
2
in with 1 key.
keys and did like as much as I could, and then Kaze is like, here's a bow, here's a mirror. I'm like, go rush swamp. Like, let me handle shit. Stuff. And so like I handled pod while he handled swamp, and then he's like, I've got a bow. I'm like, okay, I go to ice, get what I can, the bow and the mirror, and then I'm like over to Eastern, and then finally I'm like, okay, I'll hit Meyer. Yeah, so
Yeah, it felt so bad because we did so much bad running around in the Dark World with no hammer and the ice dip and everything. And then it's like, oh shit, if you like manage to get to pod with 2 smalls, you get the flute, and then maybe you get the hammer and Meyer. So And even while I was doing Meyer, I was so worried. Like, I was like, the progression has to be the last check in desert because Meyer's not in logic. We're one small key away. But then it's just, and Beer was like, oh, maybe it's just a pod small to put that in logic, but he still did it. And then it was actually just the
No,
pod small.
I
to
didn't
put
do it. You were
on.
like, no, you do it. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Very,
I wanted to
angry.
know what the logic was. I wanted to know if we were forgetting something or if that was our last logical location.
Well, that was the thing. When we pulled the third pod small in Thieves, I was like, Case is like, that's logical flute. And I'm like, no, it's not. I was like, our fourth small
Wait,
was
it's like,
in
yeah.
wait, no,
Meyer.
that four. Yeah, that other one was blocked by it's like, so it's like, yeah, we have the right number, but not.
So I
the right
think
keys.
that combined, we had this moment where we're like, what are we forgetting? Like, where is this
We did.
fourth mythical pod small? And then
Yeah.
I'm in the back of desert, and I'm like, what all did you do? He's like, I did up through the Popo kill pot. And I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, oh, let's check the next one. And there's a small key to pot. I'm like, there's the logic.
Yeah, see, we knew that was our last logical location, but yeah, you could just skip it if you just do Meyer.
Well, and the problem was
you
that I went back to pod with 4 smalls, and I got TR5 out of Vanilla Big Key chest when I was killing Helma, and Kays went in with 3.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I go up to TR, and I'm like, Desert Big, Powder, okay, let's go handle our business.
Yeah, one thing that was so nice for us, so Beer got that TR small, which I did not get in Pod Big Key chest. He also got some Skullwood smalls that I didn't get.
To us. We kept
And
like opening the wrong chest, but getting a key that we needed. Not the wrong chest the other person didn't, but then like
Yeah, no, it was perfect because
every time.
Yeah, like when I went and cleared GT, I got my Pod 5 or my TR5, and I got my Skullwoods too. So I was like, oh, that's perfect because now I don't have to go back for these ones that I was missing from Beer. That was really nice.
I
happens,
totally wasn't
like,
even
every
paying
time.
attention for the skull smalls. I'm like, oh yeah, you do need 2 of those.
Yeah, they were
we
really
just kind
late.
of found those along the way late, and was like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
I knew
there's
Skullwoods
where
was going to
they
be a
are,
pendant
you're good.
because of like not getting any smalls for that. So, what did you guys do with TR? Because like I went to TR first and got that Desert Big, and then I was so like, oh, I don't know if I continue this or rush GT.
We went back and forth on that so much. Jesse ended up leaving.
Yeah, it's such a hard
I got
decision.
I got Pokey and Chomps, and after pulling Powder off of Pokey and nothing out of Chomps, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bail.
Yeah, that was exactly the same for me. I did up to Chomps and build, but then
And
Beer
so
when he did it.
I rushed. I was like, I've got that extra. I for some reason went to pod first, but then I went over to like I probably should have done desert first there, but after desert, it was like, okay, I should just rush GT, and I did the basement left side. And the biggest issue was I forgot the GT big for K's. Like,
Yeah, we knew there was where the GT big key was. We knew where it was the whole time.
Yeah.
But Jesse missed seeing what key it was. He just knew it was a key and it was probably important. I was like, well, we'll go back for it later. And then it just became out
there
of
was
sight,
nothing
out of
else in
mind.
Skullwoods other than that GT big. So yeah,
there
I
was
had
a
that
bottle,
and Beer didn't.
and the bottle was worthless too. It was just
yeah, just a bottle.
There was never a point to say to K's like, go get this pot key that we forget what it is.
Yeah. Like if we had even remembered like, oh, it's GT big, like, oh yeah, no, just
You
go
get that when
It's
you
important.
do
Like part of it is like
right?
fire rod's got to show up though, right? That's part of our thought process. It's like, yeah, we're going to get that when we're doing Skullwood. It's like, no, you're not.
Actually,
That's not how that's
behind
going to
GT
work in
big.
this
That's
seed.
true. So you couldn't even dip GT and get it. You had to.
Yeah, so I was actually climbing. I was climbing the mountain when I look at my tracker. I'm like, wait, I don't have a GT big, and I don't remember you ever saying GT big anywhere. Where is it? And we just had this moment of
So I'm like, Jason, you're going into TR. I'm gonna scrub my VOD climbing the.
I'm already on here. I'm just going into TR. It's like YOLO. This is the play. So that's how I got so far behind. That and the Aga Tower dip was, didn't pay out with anything. It could have, but it didn't.
Yeah. I think the end game all we had left, like, so Jammo kept checking a bunch of he kept finding the one-off fetch quests, and then like immediately forgetting where everything was.
I
I got the
told him-
powder. I think it was in TR. Did you have the powder? No. Okay, well, whatever. You
Yeah,
know what? Fine,
he skipped the
before he
powder
did
because I forgot to tell him. I was.
I mean, it was just Thieves 3, and luckily Thieves Big Chest was nothing. We're
it.
good.
It was Thieves 3?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
powder
it
was
was.
Thieves 3.
Oh,
Like when I
I
followed
don't-
up, I got the desert big and the powder. It's like I'm gonna just go check powder first. I
Yeah.
got that. It's like okay, well I guess I'm doing Thieves Town before I do anything else. So that delayed me even more getting to GT and even more
Yeah.
thought of like where's the GT big?
Well, and that
it's-
would have been if you guys had realized that it was in Skull when you were doing Thieves or right after Thieves. Like that would have been the time to be able to get it. But
There were so many times I could. Like
Yeah.
the right time for me to
Yeah.
get it was when I was doing Bumper Ledge, Graveyard Ledge, and down over to Pod. Like that's when I should
True.
have done it.
True.
Just
Yeah, 'cause
even if it is an extra dip into Skull Woods at that point, it's not that big of a commitment. Like I should have just done it there. It would have been so much better. But
Oh, wait a minute. So the ice dip was required for either the mirror or the bow, because that gets you that. Both of those gave you one desert small. So that like logically required whatever to get you the flute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no,
yeah, yeah.
that's
Oh,
right.
because one was right side.
Yeah, one
Pod?
was right side pod and the other one was in Hera. So yeah.
Okay, so the
Oh,
ice
yeah.
dip was logically required.
Oh god.
Boom.
Yeah, the double dip pod and ice logic. That's cool.
Can
Yeah,
you imagine
I-
honest 80 KDB?
Jesse can tell you how many times I mentioned it's like, oh yeah, we can do Hera. Yeah, it's like, no, we can't get to Hera. We have all the keys for it, but we can't actually get there. Not legally.
Yeah, it was like, oh, Kaze did the South Dark World route, and he's like, and I'm thinking like, okay, I could go get Samaria and Lamp, but I'm just gonna get Hookshot and bail, because
That's what I
like
did too. I went to Mountain.
I don't
with
care, and I'm like, I'm rushing Mountain. He's
Yeah.
and he's like, but what about the Lamp for Hera Basement? I'm like, what Hera?
How do you get there? How are you getting there? It's like, yeah, but you're
Yeah.
going to find a hammer, surely, or a mirror.
Or in anything.
Yeah. seriously.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there was
no.
very much like nothing for like a good 20 minutes in the middle of this.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
thing. It was
The
like
scene- the scene was
finding that
awful.
split. It was like you're saying to yourself, how can we split? And then it was finally like we both get on Death Mountain after some early split. And then it's, well, we can dip
We had
ice,
a
we
little
can
bit
dip
of early
pod, we can
split.
dip desert.
We had a little bit of early split, but I feel like a lot of it ended up being forced follow the leader to
Yeah.
chase stupid logic because it was so
We were
dumb.
following each other for a lot as well. And
It's
some
like,
of that,
it's like, yeah, I could split from you to go do this one off over here and this one off over there, or I could go follow you to where the progression almost certainly is. Like it just didn't make sense. So
I think one of the real feels bads also of this seed is like the person who doesn't dip Eastern does have to go for Eastern pretty soon anyway because of that ice small. Like
Yeah,
you say
I think-
your ice player or your Eastern player goes, all I got was a Meyer small and an ice small. You're good for a bit. And then it's like we've got one ice small.
and so many seeds, you would be
Yeah.
good though. Is the thing. It's not this one.
yeah, Beer, you did do a trip to Eastern just for that ice small, right?
Yep.
Well, you
at
had
that
to
point,
get the
I
mirror and bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically, you had
forced into
to.
Yeah. Not just
Well, basically-
logically, physically, there were
Like-
only 2 ice smalls available at the beginning.
You could get the mirror.
No, but still, you
not
could have
without
got
a
you could have mimicked.
Oh,
You
could've
yeah,
did
you
mimicked that, right?
could.
one
Yeah.
small and the
Icebreaker.
hook shot.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
I didn't grab Samaria before dipping ice with 1 small.
Okay. Oh, one small gets you to the conveyor, dude, and that's all right, I think. So.
And I
Yeah.
didn't.
Actually, not, that's
With-
not even
without
go for it.
Samaria,
As
that's
soon as
all you
Case
did.
told me,
Yeah.
yeah, as soon as Case was like, "There's an ice small on Desert Ledge," I was like, "Nope,
Oh, yeah.
We're not
I forgot
going
about
further.
that. That
this
was
is a bad
dumb.
idea."
Okay. Yep. Now
You know, speaking really quickly of Eastern Dip, I took some notes just throughout the seed of little things, and Jeremo, I'm going to apologize right now because I didn't really take a whole lot of notes on your gameplay because I feel like, you know, you and I don't know each other very well yet, and scolding / throwing shade at somebody I don't know very well is probably not a great idea. But we'll change that in the future, don't worry. Beer. We'll start with you, friend.
What did I do?
So when you dipped Eastern, it wasn't so much a bad thing, but it was more just funny. My NDM and I were very much like, we're gonna change this in post. Just gonna add some yakety sax, chasing that anti-fairy around to get your death warp after doing right side Eastern.
Oh man, yeah, that was definitely. I'm like, I think Jamma was definitely remembering. I was like yelling about that one. I was like, "Get back here, anti-fairy!" And literally was actually chasing it at one point. And
Yes,
and it's faster than you, so
actively chasing it, and I was like, "This is." We just decided, yakety sax overlap.
Yeah.
It's fine. It'll be great.
Well, I remember. So I played we played like a practice or something where shovel was nothing like recently, and then I remember him saying there's a shovel in Saha, and then I'm in Eastern. I go to Eastern, and I skip the shovel, and then I'm like, shovel is nothing, right? It's like, oh, it's a swamp song. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, well, I need to get out of here somehow, and then I got like a health refill or something. I was like, well, or no, I just had a lot of health. I guess that's what it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And so you're like, all right, well, I guess rip magic. We're just gonna use a thing that'll take a guaranteed heart away. But
I feel like it would have been faster
to run it down
than the Stalfos. I don't know, but then it got away from me because I'm bad. So.
I mean, we found humor in it.
It was fun.
I think did something also happen along those lines with going to the front of Escape but forgetting Uncle or something like that?
Oh,
yeah,
sort of.
Or something.
We weren't sure actually. We forgot. We were like, there's something on Uncle, but we thought it was a Meyer because like somehow in this seed when we were asking what was that, like the answer was always just a Meyer small. Then,
there were about 12 Meyer smalls in this.
It kind of felt that way, and so we thought it was just a Meyer small. So it's like, oh, okay, I don't need it. And then later, Jamma was scrubbing the VOD. I was like, oh, it was actually TR small. I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go grab it.
Whoops.
And I was gonna go do the front of Escape too. And he's like, oh, I already did the front of Escape. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not gonna go waste time to. Or no, I think I was like, I'll go do Boomerang Chest. You're like, no, go do something else.
So
okay, I guess
it was Meyer Smalls for the runners. When you watch this back, you'll find out that I have no idea that GT and Swamp Smalls are all different. They're entirely fungible in my brain, apparently.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch this back right now with dinner. Honestly,
it was pretty great.
There's so many keys in this mode. They're all kind of fungible after a point. It's just some of them are less fungible than others. Some of them you actually need.
By the way, I'm just gonna shout this out because before it kind of gets lost in everything.
Yeah.
I pulled up the restream and I see we've got the auto tracking thing
capture
tonight.
Trackers.
Yes.
Yeah. The capture trackers, and what I love to see is
so
like
cool.
while Beer and Jamma, like you guys are using the ones that have been used all week. Kaze and I did not go with the Dunka tracker or whatever that everybody else has been using, and it still looks good. I like this. Like it's nice to see that even other trackers are captured well.
Realistically, I probably have the worst case scenario tracker because I have.
It's so flippin' busy, dude.
It's busy, but it has so much information on it too.
It's that, but I think the thing with the code tracker package, the broadcast view, also is it's a little bit wider on the stream. So it captures a little bit more like a rectangle than a square. So it kind of ended up squishing it a little bit to fit the space, but it's still legible. And I think that that's very much a good thing. That was something I will be honest, when I cropped them, I was a little bit worried about, but it ended up working.
HUD is so small that it gets blown up and a little blurry.
That's the kind of other slide.
HUD is just that tiny. So.
Well, I can say for the rest of the league, I'll be using emo, so I'll have to get recropped eventually.
That's fine.
You have to be recropped every other race.
No, because I'm done with.
No, I know. I'm
Pug HUD until potential playoffs. So.
Yeah, that's
playoffs.
Yeah. Playoffs. Yeah. Speaking of that, that's looking a bit rough for us at the moment. But let me get back to my notes here for a quick second. Oh yeah, no, I'm just throwing shade at myself and my team because it's funny. Self-deprecating humor. Jesse, I didn't actually have a huge amount of notes for you, partially because I think my eyes were often downcast during this race. So Beer and Kaze got kind of a little bit more of my visual attention. I did write down a little bit of shame for no zero cycle Argus.
Yeah, that's like saying, why don't you hover more?
Yeah,
Like,
why don't you hover
I don't
more
hover
with the
more.
hook
because
shot?
I don't hover and I don't
do have a
hover
hook
and I don't
shot.
zero cycle Argus. Like, what are you telling me?
Yeah, well,
And I'll
that's
just
the
say
best I
like,
have.
Leo,
Yeah. Hi.
I don't think it's possible to say I've seen the mimic clipped on faster today.
Okay, so I did make the joke.
Faster than not at all.
I did make the
No.
joke. So a while back.
First time
Yeah,
I
go
ever
for it.
mimic clipped on a restream, I was doing pause buffer strats and I was slow as anything. And somebody in chat writes, "I've seen that done faster."
I'm pretty sure I was commentating that exact race too.
I think you
And
were.
it was just like, okay, dude, sure.
Was
Yeah.
it me? Was it me writing in chat?
No.
No, it was a nobody. It
Oh.
was straight up somebody. I hate to say that it was a nobody, but it was somebody who is not a runner name that I recognize.
So ever since, every time I do bufferless clip and it's super quick, it's like I've seen it done faster.
I did lean into the microphone and say it. I won't lie. You'll hear it on the restream.
Okay.
Now Kaysden, darling.
Why you gotta watch my stream?
Okay, so the first thing I wrote down was blue mail. I called you a coward for that one.
Where was
That's
Blue
fair.
Man?
He
I
got
don't
it in
remember,
Hookshot
but
Cave.
Yeah, that.
I don't remember.
Oh, I
No,
did that
the
too.
reason I went in there is my money situation was a little sketch, and if I'm going in there just to top up, like getting it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to skip it at that point. If I had
Yeah.
all the money in the world, I'm not going in to get either of them. But since I did want the money, because we weren't sure about Zora at that point, I can defend that. So next
That's fair.
question.
I'm still going to call you a coward.
I'll
So
accept that.
really quickly, after you got the bow and iced tea,
Uh-huh.
and you walked back to the right to the pit rim, the ice bridge rim there, right?
Yeah.
And you used the pits to death warp, right?
Yes.
You had the freaking mirror.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm an idiot.
You had the mirror, and I'm sitting here like, what are you doing?
Because I had it in my head the entire time, like, when you're done here, you got to death warp and go check the conveyor berry. Don't forget that. And it just... I think I even mirrored out after I got the conveyor berry. No, I never put 2 and 2 together there. I'm just dumb.
Yeah, like, sir. Okay, but no, that was the most egregious one. I also will throw out, Beer, I'm going to give you a small congratulations. You were the only one of the 4 runners that remembered that you did not have Fire Rod on the GT climb.
Really?
Yeah,
I think I
every
only
single
remember
other
'cause-
one.
'cause Jammo
Every single
was,
one.
like,
That's
failed at it.
impossible to remember.
So wait, did we all like completely bork Torches one?
Yes,
Yup.
yes.
Awesome.
Good. I'm proud of
Yep.
us.
Maybe, yeah, Beer, you heard me messing it up, so maybe that helped you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse didn't tell me he messed it up until after I messed it up. He's like, yeah, I did too. I was like, okay, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Actually,
So-
real quick, just to comment on that, the last, whatever it was, 10 minutes or so of the race, like 6 minutes in, I my heart starts pounding a bit, and I'm like, man, like a 10-minute go mode kind of sucks. And because basically once we hit go mode, we both just kind of shut up for a bit, and like we were just really trying to focus. But the only thing that we said to each other for like 10 minutes was like bitching about like when we screwed up. And that was one of
I
the
feel
things
like-
where he was just like, "Oh, I don't even have fire out. Oh, what am I gonna do?" And I was just like, "Oh, I better not mess that up."
Yeah, I think that, like, when you have literally, like, 2 or 3 dungeons at that point that you are, doing after CT at that point, right? Like, because you had, like, some combination of TR, Skullwoods, and maybe Thieves, right? So that's a lot of time after you reach go mode to just, like, there's not really communication happening at that point other than just, like,
Just go.
yeah, just speak.
Like, check in. It's
nothing.
like you're still in go mode, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Cool.
didn't lose an item, did you?
Don't be bad or something.
We kept
Didn't
Didn't
forget
open
you
a
had a
door you
mirror in
weren't supposed to
Deathwarp,
open,
right?
did you?
like just giving each other heart attacks. Like, wait, do you have 5 TR smalls? Wait, do you have 4
Yeah.
CT smalls? So
Yeah.
I got to the top of CT for a second. I was like, wait, did I get that small that I was missing for a long time?
What Kaze and I have discovered is like that's one of those things we just start asking each other is like, do you have that?
Yeah,
have
because
this?
it's so easy
How
to
many of
miss
these do you
because the other
have?
person got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how many TR
And,
smalls
and
you
then
got,
every
Mike?
once in a while, you get an answer. It's like, how many TR smalls? It's like, I have 4. It's like, wait, I have 5.
yeah,
Oh, no.
Okay, we know where it is. It's
Yeah.
either takes a second, we know where it is, or we're like, uh-oh. Hopefully we find
Go
number
with that
6 and we
Uncle
don't
one.
need 5.
Well, before we wrap things up here, any final thoughts? I've gone through my notes. I think the only thing I had left was like Kazden trying to go to swamp without the hammer, but you know, I can just
Yeah, that's.
the most
That's a-
egregious
that's
But
a
was
you
point
still
said
too.
the
when you're
port mirror.
playing that long in a seed without a hammer for Dark World access, after a while you just start assuming it's like I have to have it by now, right? And then you're like, wait, no, that's not how that works. You have to still go get it. Like, yeah, Jesse found the hammer. This isn't multi-world. It doesn't mean I have it. It's not that kind of co-op.
Yeah. No, any final thoughts between you guys?
Just GG's on the series, and like legitimately was just terrified the entire time.
Yep,
No,
like,
that was
Gonna be rough.
Like,
And you know, I knew this was gonna be a good race either way. Just like
yeah.
this is what happened. Like
yeah.
You know,
GG's.
I said this the other night. Like, I was excited to get to play you guys, and also kind of mad. I was like, I saw you guys were practicing a bunch on this mode, and we were practicing a bunch on this mode. And I was like, we pulled a team that we knew was also doing the same like investment on this mode, and it was like,
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
true. Yeah,
and I was like, our
Yeah.
cross divisional, like, you know, it's tough, but no, it's fun to play you guys. Like,
For sure.
the 3 of you are friends, so it's, well, you know, it's always fun.
I feel like that well, you know, was 100% like, I mean, Jammo's not a friend yet, but we're getting there. We're working on it.
I was gonna say, here's the thing: we keep seeing Jammo and stuff. Like, Jammo's,
Yeah.
you know, runs the 40s a bunch, and
Yeah.
is in
It's
tournaments.
very
We've run into-
terrifying at the video game.
Yes.
This is like the 3rd time I faced Jammo in something. So yeah,
yeah, and maybe next week in the inverted tournament as well.
fingers crossed for tomorrow.
Oh boy. But
Have to play
yeah, I will.
Ambrosia.
I'm so sorry, friend. I will say, again, if you did not already do it, go and give these 4 guys a follow. They put on, again, a heck of a race full of good plays and very questionable ones, which makes it very entertaining, of course. Look out for them as well next week. I know 3 Off the Tee, you guys go back into your own division for play. I think you guys play something you could look like you could use a hook and lamp, right? The JJo,
Yeah.
TJ Maelstrom, Ahab.
That's a real
Yeah.
song, by the way. If you look it up, it's a good song. TJ sang it at karaoke at SGL this year.
Oh, nice.
About it, so.
But yeah, so you guys playing them for Boss Hunt. Any thoughts as of yet as to matchups for that?
I'm playing against TJ, Jesse, kind of Jesse, I guess.
I was gonna say, you
Fear-
have a Jesse on your team, so
Yeah, Fear is playing against Ahab. JJo has the week off, and those are gonna be kind of early in the week. I think Monday and Tuesday are the 2 games, so it'll be fun coming up.
Or Jammo? I think you said JJo, or did I mishear?
Oh yeah,
JJo's
no,
on that team
JJo.
too.
Yeah,
So yeah,
JJo's on that
JJo and Jammo.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
JJo and Jammo, yeah, the weekend.
Yeah, we're
Man,
we're
lots
just
of
gonna-
J's here.
If you have too
Lot
many
of
J's in your
J's.
name, you can only have up to 1 J in your name to play. Boston. Oh wait, Jammo has 1. You know what? Forget it. It's fine.
Yeah, no, everything. This is great. Hopefully we'll get some Jammo comms maybe. Cheering on
I've
your
never
team.
done comms before, actually. but
You should do it.
I should for their races. Yeah, I'll be watching them anyway. I should.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's
fun.
it is not like I think the first time doing comms is maybe a little nerve-wracking, but if you have somebody that you have a rapport with, it makes it really
Yeah,
Much
and
more
mostly you're just
comfortable.
chilling and watching the video game and criticizing all their mistakes. That's all you got to do. I'm good at that.
absolutely. That's exactly it. The more you trash your own teammates, the better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hence the notes.
The more they
Um,
deserve it.
Yeah. the notes, and then I'm like, I've met Beer in person. I can trash him a bit. It's fine. Be good. I know on our side, JKLOL, Kaysden, me, we're passing some potents.
Ooh, oh, that's gonna be good. I gotta watch those.
Yeah,
Another fun series. Another terrifying mode.
GFE did a call out at the end of the Sphere Funity Pass the Potents race last night, basically demanding a Leo v Pichu for Boss Hunt. So thankfully we were able to make it happen, and
nice.
we'll be doing so next Friday. I don't know if Kaysden, I think it's going to be Kaysden and James.
It is. We
James
don't have
FNX?
date or time set yet, but yeah, it is going to be me versus James.
So yeah, look forward to those.
That'll be fun.
I think what I've loved so far about this league season is like we have been scheduled very much against friends, and so like it has been really fun just to kind of like not only like play against each other, like there's a comfort when you're playing against friends, even if it's like you have no idea which way it's gonna go. There's just something fun about it, you know? Playing with friends.
Absolutely. It's more fun, especially because then, afterwards you get to talk and you don't feel like, I don't know, you feel less of a sense of salt or something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We race all the time and, we trade wins. So this is just like, just another race.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you for the restream and comms and thanks us for tracking. We did a great job.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, we did a good job. Tech worked.
Yeah.
Thank you, Muffins, for tracking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Codeman.
And Fear for layouts.
And Emo.
I was gonna say thank you, Sigma, for setting this up for this to be possible.
Yeah. Really, that's where the thanks goes, is to Sigma and the League and SG people for making this finally happen. I know it's been wanted for a long time.
I will special shout out, thank you, Fear, for doing the layout swap, because originally it was showing the regular tracker layout, and I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to swap it to this one, but Fear was able to get it fixed on the back end, so...
Yeah, we put some notes in the mod channels for the League Discord, so if there's any questions there, people will know.
Next time, just DM me and I'll go pick it.
Oh, while you're racing? I got you, Bo. I got it. Awesome. Easiest win ever. Anyway, my Endium. I feel like I've dominated the interview, and I apologize, friend.
Well, I mean, when you pile 6 people in for a post-race interview, as long as somebody shuts up occasionally, you eventually get through it. But yeah, I think we did a good hour and 40 minutes. Hour and 40 minutes of talking there. We got through everything, and our runners put on the show that everybody wanted to see.
For sure. I went ahead and I threw the links in the chat. Go follow my Endium. I know you haven't, or at least I'm pretty sure you haven't been streaming as much lately, but get follows for when the voice of A Link to the Past Randomizer. I'm just gonna really broaden it, my Endium. The voice of A Link to Past Randomizer graces us with his return. Be there. Or be really sad because you missed it. And yeah, I'm really glad we did this, dude. This was fun.
Yeah, we've still got 1 more day of week 1, and then 6 more weeks of regular season, maybe some playoffs. There are some chances we can get this done again, I think.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Can say probably might have to dodge next Friday, but like there's opportunity. We've got this.
All right, I do hope everybody out there in chat land was entertained. Our 4 runners put on the show for you. And yeah, if you want a little more Link to the Past Randomizer League action, I believe this is the last bit of restream for today. But we should have some more coming up tomorrow. It looks like there's a crew already for the Used Bow Tile Roomie's second game. That'll be Structural Mike and Jim versus J. Misher and Plasma Kappa. There's not a channel assigned for that yet, but keep your eyes out. There's also my namesake team versus the Hyrule Hunerhorde, which is going to be Scholzer and Raylan Tankier versus Norsk Matty and Vextifer. That has one sign up so far. We don't know how that one's going to go, but maybe. There are a couple more chances, and then soon enough we're going to be into week 2, that boss hunt week. We're going to swap around the matchups, different teams playing each other. It's going to be 1v1s if you like the real head-to-head kind of look of Link to the Past Rando. That's what we've got coming for you next week. But until such time, Leo, I do believe we have reached the end of the road here. We are done. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure as always, my Indium. Thank you again to everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.